welcome. You're watching Out of Office right here on NDTV Profit. This week's guest, well, he's the man who's at the top of his game with the stock markets, but out of office as well, he is a multifaceted person. And I'm here to tell you just that. I am talking about Raamdeo Agrawal. So thanks very much for coming in on the show. Thank you so much. So, out of office, let's start off with that, since that's the theme of the show. What are your likes? What do you love to do out of office?
I work 5 days full. Monday to Friday, no negotiation. But after that, 2 days is really my own or my wife's or my family's. And she doesn't want any encroachment on those 2 days. So, so we create a lot of stuff, all the socials, a lot of reading, a lot of music, a lot of movies,
a lot of food,
a lot of friendly meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to spend the entire 2 days meeting with the friends if I can.
Socialize, at least the time that you get spent.
So, but in Mumbai, there are a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
Lots of things you can do.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
you always keep running short of time.
Oh yeah, you love movies as well. You love to watch light-hearted movies.
Yeah.
They give you a lot of refreshment. So let's talk. I've come to know that you love to eat food, and you're the first person to go and try out anything new.
Yeah. So it has to be a vegetarian place. Like excellence in anything, excellence in food is also a very unique thing. I go to many friends' house. These ladies, they cook something very, very well. Like that in restaurants also, there are very few things people do well. I mean, everything is available in everywhere, but they're known for certain things, and I love to repeat those things every time I go and find that. So any new place, new ambience, new sitting place, it just breaks you out from the old, kind of say Taj and Oberoi. We are fed up going there. Like, I mean, they're terrific places, but any analyst meet, any business meeting, you are there. So
something different.
Yeah, like Trident BKC, always a fun to come here. Once in 2 months, 3 months, they're just too good, absolute perfect.
Alright, so by now, we've pretty much got a gist of what you love to do over the weekends. You love your friends, you love to spend time with them, and you love to eat. You're a big foodie, you love your food, different places, you visit them to enjoy various cuisines. We're going to give you a taste of different desserts today, and what we have for you is a red velvet tiramisu, we've got a strawberry cupcake, a chocolate tart, and some macaroons. All of them up for takes. Also, you started off, let's talk about that now. How you started off. I mean, it's a good story to hear every time you meet someone and you talk and you say that, at that point in 1980 when I started off, for 10 years you actually didn't make much in terms of the portfolio growth. And then after that, the boom came about.
Yeah. So, entrepreneur's journey is a junoon, I mean, you're mad after becoming an entrepreneur, then only you can become an entrepreneur. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So I was mad after that, and I was stock market buff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually when you think about it, so much has happened in 25 years, and you didn't know from where to start. So I did research, I was chartered accountant. So, I don't know, somewhere along the line, because I did my chartered accountancy with a lot of effort. It was not a straight game for me, 2 years. It took almost 5 years for me. So I got things with a lot of difficulty. So when it was coming to making money, I was not in a hurry. I was just not in a hurry. So we wanted to do it right way. And somewhere along the line, I also thought that we must create a corporation.
But since you did your chartered accountancy, what made you think you should become an entrepreneur?
Maybe I never seen in my family, we are farmers, so it's like a small enterprise. So I never saw anybody working for anybody. So I wanted to be my own boss. Entrepreneurship was always there in my dream. The books I used to read, I read a lot of books on entrepreneurship, in the sense that I used to read a lot of fiction. But fiction used to be international finance and kind of those, the $1 billion show thing. Paul Edman, zero coupon bonds, those kind of things I used to read in early 80s and when I was doing CA. So maybe mentally I was aligned to thinking big about businesses, just fantasize in your mind. And so that's how when I was doing audits, I used to go to big corporations, because the company in which I was working, they used to give me audits of Cotton Corporation of India, Central Bank of India. So, very large. So the small mind used to just expand to see, business are so big. It can be so big. So somehow I used to like those big things, big businesses, big fantasies, big fictional theories, how to make money, and then eventually I took a plunge.
So, since you mentioned books, let's talk about one of your most inspirational author, from Warren Buffett.
I used to read a lot of balance sheets. You would not know. I mean, actually, it will be very absurd to think. I mean, very strange to think that, but in 80s, there were no newspapers.
Oh.
I mean, newspapers used to be, one Economic Times,
Yeah.
8 pages, and except for business, everything else used to be there.
Yeah.
So there was not much of newspaper. There were no business magazines. No foreign books were available. There was no cable channel, and obviously there was no internet. You imagine a hungry guy like me who wanted to read. What do I read? So I used to live by balance sheets. So every weekend my job was to collect balance sheets. So I used to collect about 50 to 100 balance. Bigger the better. Like I will get a pile of balance sheet. I mean, there is no friend whose dad would have invested and would be having good or bad, whatever. I would have collected the balance sheets and would have taken home. So that used to be the game. So by the time I was, that's my grounding. By the time I was 85, in 1985, I was absolutely on top of this 200-300 companies. Yeah. I used to know the capacity, I used to know what is the raw material, what do they do, what is their margin, what is the labor cost, everything I would know. And so that became my foundation. So I used to know the entire business community. So I had a lot of confidence in understanding the stock market. That's what I thought. Then what happened was that we started little practicing, read the balance sheet, buy stocks and all. But at the end of it, we were not making much money. Though I used to think I'm smart and I'm
1992, the Harshad Mehta time.
Harshad Mehta time you made money because the tailwind was so big. I mean, any fool could have made money. And people did make a lot of money. Yeah. And first time we saw in Motilal Oswal that we have few crores, thanks to our participation in the market. But at the end of it, again, the whole thing became 1/3 and we are left with 3-4 crores worth of stuff only. Yeah. Then came Warren Buffett. I mean, somebody introduced me, I think my friend Sanjay Bhattacharya. He told me there is a gentleman called Warren Buffett and he's so good and you read his director's report and all. So, and somebody got me 3-4 copies of 3-4 years director's report. I got fascinated. I mean, love at first sight. When I read the first report, I said, "Boy, this guy is a genius." But why I didn't hear about it. So anyway, that was introduction to me. And in 1 year, I collected some 10-12 annual reports, and I went through all of them. And next year, I was to his annual general meeting. One of my friend Ravi Chadda, he introduced me to his cousin in US, and he took me to Omaha. And then I took out 30 years of the reports, and I read all of them. And I used to get up at 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the morning. Absolute peaceful mind, no disturbance. I used to take a pencil, and the copies which I have read is still there, marked. And that is the best reading I ever had.
And that's probably what you apply as well.
Yeah, so I have internalized, and it's not about investing only.
Yeah.
It's about life, about friends, about books, about how do you run your business, how do you look at things. I got a lot of frameworks to think about many subjects.
Yeah. The last we spoke, you were saying that you're now doing workshops, you're studying more, learning more, applying more. You want to talk a little bit more about that, and what exactly does that involve, and how does it change your thinking and approach to the stock markets?
One of the things I realized, as I told you, I'm a slow learner. So what happens is that in the stock market, you commit mistake and then you learn. And that's been the process. So you buy bad stocks, you lose crores, and then you don't commit that mistake again. So, as I said, I got to know about him in 95, 96. Then I started doing annual wealth creation study. It was inspired by his principles actually, his and Phil Fisher. Okay. Common stocks and common profits. So it was very, very primitive kind of thing. Then year after year we started taking a little more deeper subjects, and the studies started becoming a little more, it became a source of new knowledge for me. So whatever I have collected in 8-9 months, that I will apply, and during those 3 months we will take ourselves a little higher, little more challenging.
Okay.
run the data of last 5 years onto those thought processes. So last year we 16th part of the study was on blue chip investing.
Okay.
And it was every time I do the study, and after that I wish I had done the study 5 years back.
Yeah.
Because you get new knowledge, and you realize that if this knowledge was applied 5 years back or 3 years back, you would have not committed a lot of mistakes which you have committed, and your portfolio would have looked different, and you would have made a lot more money.
It's never too late.
One is never too late. I mean, it's just about 25 years of investing, and at least I've got some confidence that I have a style of investing of my own.
And now what you're doing is earnings versus earnings power?
Yeah, so this year, we are still conceptualizing what we want to study, but one of the thoughts I have is the difference between earnings and earnings power. And we are obsessed about P multiples. So we think that markets value earnings, but probably markets value a lot more earnings power rather than earnings. So many facets of that. How do you anticipate? How do you evaluate earnings power of a company? Earnings are there, and you can always do some mathematical numbers, but earnings power are much more quality and futuristic. So I mean, I think that's the you're in the realm of unknown. So when you study for 2-3 months, a lot of thoughts will come, a lot of articles will be collected.
It's more foresight than hindsight.
Yeah, so you'll consider. I mean, there'll be some insights on the subject, and I don't know what it will be. Only in December sometime, first week of December, we'll know that we have learned one thing, about earnings power, which I didn't know, and that little one thing will, I think, we'll keep applying across.
Raamdeo Agrawal, we've learned quite a bit about you, but there's still lots more to know about your investment philosophies and how you approach the markets. We will be taking a very short break right here. I'm going to make Raamdeo have some coffee and desserts, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Out of Office right here on NDTV Profit. I'm in conversation with Raamdeo Agrawal. We've got a slight bit of a flavor to what kind of a person he is out of office, what are his likes, what does he like to reading, where does he draw his inspiration from. Now it's time to know a little bit more. Raamdeo, let's talk a little bit more about your investment philosophies, because you're known for that. You're known to be the guy who knows it all, where the money needs to go and how the returns will come.
Few things which is, I would say, different about the way I pick a stock is, one is that I look for actually long term, like 10, 15, 20 years is the kind of horizon I look at. Second, I don't actually believe that I can time the market.
Yeah.
And the biggest curse of the market is that everybody thinks that he can time the market, and all the time. It's not at some point of time. Day in, day out, you are timing the market. I find it very funny. Not even intelligent, So, I mean, if you're an investor, trader, of course, he has to be worried about only price, because he makes money out of the price differential. So it's fine. But if you're not a trader, if you're an investor, then bothering about the markets on a daily basis is complete foolishness. I'm 100% invested always. Whatever money I have, it's always there in stocks.
In long term.
Long term. And 100% in stocks. So a lot of these problems of whether I should be in cash, how much I should be invested, those problems are not there with me only. And I find enough ideas, in fact more ideas than the amount of money I have to invest at any point of time. So, I mean, again, a lot of things I've learned, because I've got only one guru. I know that there is no confusion. I've got only one guru, that is Warren Buffett. And he doesn't know that I'm his disciple. That's the beauty. So, he writes things only in his director's report, in annual letters. And in 2007 annual letter, he's written about what should be the process of investing. And I think those 2 pages, page 6 and 7 of 2007 annual report, I would think it summarizes whatever Buffett has said in the last 30-40 years on investing. So there he has said that the first point is you invest what you understand, and that point is extremely important thing. And then
that's the mantra.
That's the
for
mantra, yeah. So
investment.
unless you understand how the company has been making money, how much it has been making and why it has been making, and how much, see, once you understand the business, then you can probably say whether it will keep making money or not.
Yeah, longevity of the
Longevity, how much more, how much it will grow, how the competition is going to shape up in 10, 15, 20 years henceforth, and what are the challenges, how things will change. So those things you are able to talk about a company only if you understand it. Once you understood the business, then the first thing is, does it have long-term terrific economics? So that's the one thing I look for. Third is terrific set of management. This is where exactly my weakness is. I've still not been able to judge managements. I get carried away by terrific business economics, and I give all the credit to the management. But there are managements and managements. There are crooks, there are very, very honest ones, and very competent ones. So you need to see the competent and management with high integrity. And both don't come together. You got a lot of, because this is the first generation entrepreneurship in India. So you find a lot of passionate and competent management. The second thing to come with that competence is extremely important. So terrific business, competent and passionate management with high integrity. This is the one where my weakness lies, but that's the one which you are looking for. And then the last is the valuation. Is it a reasonable valuation? But most of the time, at least in the beginning, I used to look at first valuation and then rest all, if at all I could do something.
But valuation is also perception. For somebody, even a stock with the cheapest valuation will not appeal, but they will still go and buy a stock which is highly valued.
Yeah, so that's where the understanding of, so again you go back to the first point, whether you understand the business at all. If you understand the business, you can appreciate it much better than the person who's just looking at the valuation without understanding the subject.
Yeah.
So I actually follow this process, and I know where I am weak and I need to improve, but this is the process of investing I have kind of ingrained in myself.
All right. And that's worked also for you in a great big way. Right now, how are you positioned? How is all this helping you to deal with what we're undergoing right now?
See, another thing is that there are two types of stock. Good stocks and bad stocks. Means good businesses and bad businesses. So what is happening is, as the things are a little more challenging, you saw terrific expansion between 2003 to 2000 of the global economics, local economics and stock market everywhere. So now those things are getting corrected. Now, as the market is in corrective mode, what is happening is that bad stocks are doing very badly.
Yeah.
And only few good stocks are doing well. So markets have, say we have 3,000 companies, of that 300 are good companies and 2,700 are, say, not so good companies or bad companies. Okay? So actually those 300 companies are doing very well. So it means that good market is about the bad stocks. When you say market is good, what it means is that bad stocks are doing very well. And right now, good stocks are doing well because they do well in good market as well as bad market.
Bad markets, yeah. They're all weather.
Yeah, so the quality is coming out. So the guys whose portfolio is aligned to the quality,
yeah,
I think they are doing wonderfully well. And somehow, because of these studies and all, we have our set of mistakes, clearly, but largely portfolio is aligned towards quality. So that
blue
is
chips.
Yeah, blue chips, lot of blue chips. And because of these studies and all, I keep making changes, but basically the portfolio is built up of all the quality companies. Since this economy offers a lot of growth ahead.
Yeah.
See, one of the things is that when you're in the stock market, you've got to be very optimistic. If you're not optimistic about the future, about this country, no, you cannot get up in the morning and go to the office, because headlines are so bad.
Yeah.
But what I have seen in 25 years in my own career, that you have to be optimist, and it has done extremely well. My company, investors in general, people in general, country in general, I have seen the change of India's position in the global markets, global investors in last 25 years. So having that optimism continuing into the next 15-20 years.
Which means you're optimistic on the markets right now also.
See, it's not about optimistic or pessimistic. I'm always fine. I'm always optimist on the long term.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very, because it's not a bear market here. Quality is not available cheap. Quality is fully priced, and bad stocks are being punished. So it's not a very challenging market.
It's easier to invest in those good stocks, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's easier to find, easier to do research, and when you find a stock, you can go and buy it, and it doesn't move.
Okay.
So I think it's a terrific time. There's a lot of stress among the people at large, because all this so-called 2700 bad stocks are with masses at large. So people are feeling very bad about it, and of course things are not, politically also things are not in the best of the shapes. So my sense is this is good time to invest, and that's how, I always felt, except for a few, like this 2000 and 2007, you get to feel that things are going out of hand. Even then I didn't sell.
Still held on.
Still held on. So I think investing is fun even at this point of time.
Just one last one before I take you through just a quick 4-5 question rapid fire. One latest biggest gem that you have found in the markets.
Whether it is a gem or not, that you come to know only after some time.
Yeah.
See, I bought in the portfolios. I've done few changes. Whether they work out to be big or not, that only time will tell. Say I bought Can India. I bought Eicher Motors. And both of them are below my purchase price, and they have been bought just in 6-8 months before. So whether they are going to be big or not, only time will tell. But I thought it fits into my criteria of picking the stocks, and so let's see whether those things work or not. Only after 4-5 years we'll come to know whether I was on the right track or wrong track.
All right. So we got a sense of what you like to do. Let's just quickly get you through 4-5 fast questions, and we want the first answer that comes into your mind.
Yeah.
Eating, listening to music, reading, and working the terminal, trading terminal. What is Raamdeo Agrawal like doing the most?
Definitely not trading terminals. So that was the easy one.
Yeah.
But other three, it depends on the point of time. If it is eating time, then nothing else matters. Only eating is important, and I love my food. So
any mistake that you want to change?
I never thought I committed such a huge mistake or anything like that. Probably I need to be more focused on investing.
Investing or trading?
Absolutely no way trading. No way. Zero time, and I have never spent even a minute on trading. And I don't. It just doesn't give me kick to trade or anything like that.
Reading a report from Warren Buffett, or analyzing balance sheets of 10 other companies that are given to you?
No, if it is something latest from Warren Buffett, that is the first preference.
Between L&T and SBI?
I think right now SBI.
Can India and M&M?
I would buy Can India.
ACC and Reliance Industries?
ACC at this juncture.
Optimistic on India till end of the year, Sensex level, above what we are right now or below what we are?
It should be somewhat better. It will be higher. Maybe 18,000, maybe 18,500. But I would think that pessimism is so much that it can only be better.
Raamdeo Agrawal, I really appreciate you taking on the time and speaking with us. Pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much. Thanks.